Love will get one more. That one's good. 5-point game, 11 seconds to play. Here's Champagny with it. Contested three, off the mark. Rebound Sissoko with 5 seconds to go. He'll dribble it out across the timeline against his former team. It's a Rip City winner. The Trailblazers hand the Spurs their first loss on a back-to-back this season. They come into San Antonio, and they beat the Spurs 115-110.
That is right. City Sissoko dribbles out the clock against his former team, handing Tiago Splitter a win against his former team in the former building he called a home as the Blazers take down the Spurs 115-110. Welcome in to the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you, listening to the beautiful tunes of one Captain Rich Patterson. Just for a second there, he loves his old school music, and enjoying the fact that the Blazers were able to take care of business tonight in a game that really was clutch. And that's kind of the best way to explain it, in the fact that this team, I think, could have wavered at any moment as San Antonio mounted comeback after comeback, run after run, yet the Blazers just kept bouncing back, taking those punches, and, then in boxing terms, they'd go back to their corner, lick their wounds for a second, talk to their coach, and then come back out for another round swinging. Every single time San Antonio was, again, trying to get those knockout punches, get those haymakers, Portland weathered the storm. The Blazers led 35-24 after the first quarter, and were looking real good. But then San Antonio's defense just absolutely locked them up in the second, outscored Portland 27-20, and it was a close game at that point. You're going, oh no, really? Is this what's going to happen? A 62-61 game? I don't like this. We felt so good off the top. Off the top, things felt good. This is not what I want to see. But then in this third quarter, the Blazers were able to score some points, which is nice. We've seen a lot of these third quarters. Like, yeah, Chris, scoring points is what you do in basketball. But what I mean is, how many times have we seen the third quarter come around and the Blazers just come out flat? They didn't come out flat. They outscored San Antonio 32-29. So, yes, it was a close game, but they were getting the job done. And then the fourth quarter, they led by as many as 13 in the quarter, but San Antonio just kept swinging. You could not get this Blazers team off their back. You could not get San Antonio to get away from you. And it was looking close. In the fourth quarter, you start getting to the free throw line, you start missing free throws, and it's a 1-point game, and you're like, no. We've seen this story before. Please, no. But the Blazers were able to hold on. You heard that highlight there. Caleb Love missed 2 free throws, which I posted on social media jokingly, of course, that he can expect a call from his mom tonight as soon as he gets into the locker room, because when he hit those clutch free throws a couple games ago, he's like, yeah, if I would have missed those free throws, my mom definitely would have called me, told me I need to be in the gym and work on my free throw shot, because we don't miss free throws, babe. Well, he's probably going to get a call from his mom. In fact, the Blazers struggled mightily from the line today. 27 free throw attempts, just 16 makes 59%. And I think that's something that is definitely going to start to loom large for this Trailblazers team, is their inability to hit those shots. Those clutch free throws tend to be head scratchers, to say the least, as you sit there going, why? Like, why is this happening? Here we go again. But no, just when you think it was deja vu all over again, there was a different ending to your fever dream as the Blazers held on and grabbed a victory. And like I said, I think clutch is the way to describe this game, because this game could have gone off the rails at any moment with the way San Antonio was trying to mount these comebacks. It felt like it was a matter of when, not if, the Blazers' fortress was going to crumble. But their defenses held firm, and you got to give them credit for that. Taking a look at the box score, San Antonio had 54 points in the paint to 42 of Portland. Portland did out second chance them. 26 second chance points, just 18 for San Antonio. The fast break points in favor of San Antonio, 13-10. Bench points in favor of Portland, 30-18. And one thing we talked about in the pregame show was that the Blazers absolutely needed to keep their turnovers down against this team, because last time in that loss, even without Victor Wembanyama, they had 20 turnovers, and the points off turnovers massively in favor of San Antonio in a game that they won running away. Well, the Blazers were able to keep that turnover margin down again to just 11, which is far below their season average and is close to that season low of 9 that they had in yesterday's game. So a good performance from that. And the San Antonio Spurs only able to get 10 points off of turnovers. Taking a look at the individual box scores, Julian Champagny had 20 points for the Spurs. Harrison Barnes had 14. Luke Cornett chipped in 23. Stephon Castle had 16. And De'Aaron Fox had 19. No bench player for the Spurs in double figures. For your Portland Trailblazers, couple things here that we have to note. And that is, we talked a big game about how some of these guys that we expect to contribute every single night, guys like Tumani Kamara, need to have big nights. Guys like Donovan Clingan, hey, it'd be really nice if he had another one of those, 15-point, 12-rebound games. Well, they both excelled in this one. Tumani Kamara, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 5 of 9 from beyond the arc, hit a couple clutch ones. He had a steal in there as well. Donovan Clingan, a career high 24 points to go along with 12 rebounds and a career high tying 3 3-point field goals. So a very good night from Donovan Clingan. Chris Murray had 6 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist, still starting for the injured Jeremy Grant. Shaedon Sharpe, an absolute rough night. He was 3 of 16, 0 of 4 from the floor, and he had just 6 points. So another one we've talked about is, we need to get over this whole, oh, man, 6 points is a bad game for Shea. 14 points is a bad game. No, I want to get to where 20 points feels like a bad game. This right here is something that's just inexcusable to have a game that poor. I don't like that whatsoever. Caleb Love, though, again, stepped up. 6 of 13 from the floor, 3 of 9 from beyond the arc. He had 16 points. And as we mentioned in the pregame show, he's top 5 in the league right now among all rookies in 3-point field goal makes. And he leads all undrafted rookies in points per game, also top 15 in points per game among all rookies. So I like that. Now, I want to address the commenters. Keith says it's just hard to feel like it's clutch with all those missed free throws. That's my buddy Keith. He's texting me directly. He skipped the text line. He skipped the YouTube chat. He went directly to me. And I get the sentiment here, but at that point, my friend, we're just being nitpicky because there is plenty that can go good and plenty that can go bad. But those missed free throws in the end, as frustrating as they are, is when you're looking at the microscope of the end of that ball game. Okay. Caleb Love missing those free throws. And that is something that is frustrating and something that needs to be fixed. But when I say that game was clutch, I am talking about 48 minutes of making the plays they needed to make. The free throw thing is going to bother people until it is no longer bothersome, and they need to fix that. That's 100% factual. I get you there. But if they are not answering the runs that the Spurs are making, if they are not punching back every single time the Spurs punch them, if they are, not saying, okay, you just went on a run, we're going to try to go on a run of our own. Those are the clutch plays I'm talking about. Getting the defensive stops you needed, whether it was Tumani or Denny or Caleb Love hitting those threes in clutch moments. You can be clutch throughout a game and still have those opportunities missed at the free throw line. That is not the only thing, in my opinion, that defines what clutch is. It's just a matter of missing your free throws, okay? It's like Shaquille O'Neal, famously awful free throw shooter. But I don't think people would say that he wasn't a clutch basketball player when you needed him to go out there and get you points. It's just sometimes free throws can be the thorn in the backside. And they have been of this Blazers team. But I still think clutch is a way to describe this game because they came through when they needed them to. And for that, I applaud them. Looking at the YouTube chat, we get one chatter, Daniel. Denny equals all-star. I think I may agree with you. Another commenter still not liking Chris Murray. A rough game for Chris Murray. Freya and me, I'll take the free throws for clutch. I'll take the free throws for clutch 3 points. Yeah, that's my point. I believe you're in lockstep with me here. Like, okay, I missed one of 2 free throws, but also I hit a clutch 3-pointer when you needed it. That counted more than that one. And I understand, to my buddy Keith's point, you want free throws made, but just missing those does not mean that the game itself did not have clutch plays. I would say on a clutch factor, the free throws came in this game was about maybe 5% of the factor, and the 95% elsewhere, they came up big. And I'll take that 95%. I still want that 5% to be better. Dirt Mock Fritz, he says, Tiago for mayor. Tiago for mayor. Man, it's got to feel so good if you're a Tiago Splitter to go in, get a win on the back-to-back, and then do it in San Antonio, a place you called home for most of your career, and he was a very, very good, competent backup big man for a long time there in San Antonio. Place you won a ring, a place that obviously means a lot to you. That had to be pretty cool. And I like the poetry of the way this game ended too. The fact that former Spur Tiago Splitter gets his first win in San Antonio, his first win against his former team, and City Sissoko, former San Antonio Spur, also is the guy who has the ball in his hand to dribble out the clock. Time expires, and as our friend Travis says, it's a Rip City winner. That had to feel pretty good. This is the fifth quarter. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can also hit us up on the Rip City Radio text line, 88528, or go over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the chat there. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to hit you with our drive of the night, our shot of the night. Still have Coach's Corner to get to and a game ball to hand out. All here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
Now ahead, Bryant on the drive. Missed the dunk, knocked out of his hands by Sissoko. What a play. On the other end, Love attacks on Harper. Steps through to the rim and puts it in. That is an outstanding play by two-way NBA players. My goodness.
That is right. The two-way NBA players have been putting in work for this Trailblazers team as of late. City Sissoko and Caleb Love both coming up with some clutch plays. I'm going to put emphasis on the word clutch for my friend Keith today. But awesome to see the two-way guys putting their best foot forward. And coach was asked about it after the game. He obviously couldn't make a statement because he was asked about City Sissoko and, his contract status moving forward because he's been playing so well. And he's like, yeah, you're going to have to ask the front office that question. But Sissoko tonight, 22 minutes. He had 7 points. He did have an assist, 6 rebounds, and, did what he needed to do. And I like the fact he goes out there, he plays well. I think it's interesting that, for the longest time, I was defending Chris Murray, and Chris Murray's fine. There's nothing he does exceptionally well, but he doesn't tend to play too terribly. But he came into the year, and I was like, hey, that's your end of the rotation guy. If you get injuries, he's going to get in there for sure. But, he's solid. He's on your 15, man. But City Sissoko wasn't even in that conversation. Like, we weren't thinking about him at all. But the way he's played, like, okay, that guy's part of your rotations. He's phenomenal. You're gonna have to find a way to get him on the floor more. And as he nears his 49 game mark, being up as a two-way player, like, yeah, you're gonna have to make some tough decisions with the other guys on your roster when it comes to their future, because City Sissoko might lock himself in. And you got Dwap Reith who's getting DMPs that you know decide what's going on here. I mean, is Dwap Reith the guy who's out so that you can get City in? And what about Ryan Rupert? He played 14 minutes tonight. He had 5 points. And the funny part is we were talked about him being the end of the bench guy too, and maybe on the outside looking in, but he started to play a little bit better as of late. But this is all without even mentioning Caleb Love, because Caleb Love has been playing pretty dang good. So there's another one that Joe Cronin's going to have to think about when it comes to the contracts and how this team's built moving forward, and trade season with the deadline coming up in about a month. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how this team builds out. Once again, Blazers going to San Antonio, win their second game in a row, taking down the Spurs, who did not have Victor Wembanyama, but as the team has shown before, can still beat you, because without Victor Wembanyama, they came into Portland and won that game in the NBA in-season tournament, and they won it pretty handily. So for the Blazers to get this win, I thought it was pretty impressive. Now, yesterday, they took care of business against the Pelicans. They played one bad quarter out of the 4, and that was the first quarter. Bounced back, played great for the next 3, and got a win in a game that they should have won. This was you need to play perfect to beat this team, and I thought for the most part, they pretty much did. Still need to hit those free throws. That's gonna keep guys like Tiago Splitter up at night. You gotta hit those things. It's almost just cliche, and it's just at this point, just roll. Bill Shanley, you got to make your free throws. Like it, yeah, absolutely they do. Going 16 for 27 is rough, and that's putting it lightly. Caleb Love, who's been pretty clutch at the line, 1 of 4. It makes you really, really appreciate Damian Lillard, because how many times I feel like you could count on one hand how many free throws he missed in a season, because he was pretty good at the free throw line. I think you also got to look at the trips to the line today. And can we pat Young Hansen on the back? 2 for 2 at the line. I mean, the only Blazer player to hit all his free throws today. That's something to write home about. How was Young Hansen's game? How's he been playing? Well, he's been up and down. He hasn't been as good as a lot of people wanted, but hey, he did go to the free throw line and hit both of them the other day. What? No way. Yeah, I know. Hard to believe, but he did. Now, I joked a second ago about Damian Lillard. His last year in Portland, he was 510 for 558. Not bad. That's not bad at all. Oh my goodness. 91%. His 2 years in Milwaukee, 92%. A career 89.9%. Yeah, he knows what he's doing at the free throw line. We need more of that, Rip City. More of that. I also get a text giving you props. Brendan Keith says, was that you or Brendan that queued up the fade in from break? Because that was some classy beep. It was Brendan. I don't touch anything when we come in from break. I just play the highlight because it's fun. Now, let's take a look at some scores around the NBA because we might be getting to that point, my friends, where we start scoreboard watching because the Blazers are right there in the thick of it when it comes to getting in the play-in. Big time games going on. Memphis has now lost 3 in a row with these 2 wins. Portland has now jumped up with the tiebreakers, all that stuff. They're in the 9th spot right now, a good spot to be. Golden State just a game, 2.5 games ahead of the Blazers. Keep in mind the Blazers have a couple wins over them. You do know that you have the Clippers on the outside looking in, but they're playing real hot right now. Winners of 6 straight, 6-4 in their last 10. Outside of that, you have Utah, who's lost 2 in a row, Dallas, who's lost 4 in a row, Sacramento, who's lost 4 in a row, and New Orleans, who has lost 6 in a row, all on the outside looking in. So let's take a look at how some games are going down today around the association. At halftime, Utah has a 65-58 lead over the Warriors. That's a game you might be rooting for the Utah Jazz to grab one. Won't hurt you at all. And yeah, that would definitely help. Sorry, I don't know. Everyone's getting sick, man. Chad missed a few days because he was sick. You heard Travis coughing on the broadcast today. I just had to try to mute myself because I had to cough. I don't know what's going on. That's why Brendan chose to work from home. He's like, I don't want to be around none of that. But then definitely going to want to watch this game, see what Utah can do because a win there from Utah will help you. 2 minutes left in the first half. The Celtics 64, the Clippers 52. So the Celtics could help the Blazers out a little bit to keep the Clippers out behind them. That's an interesting game because, like I said, the Clippers have been playing very, very well as of late. The Celtics opened up that game, outscoring the Clippers 42-28 in the first quarter. Those are the only 2 games going on right now. Everything else is final. Minnesota 125-115 victory over the Heat. The 76ers a 130-119 victory over the Knicks, a team that the Blazers will see when they return home. 4-game homestand coming up. They will take on the Utah Jazz that we just talked about. They'll take on the Rockets twice, and they will take on that New York Knicks team. Atlanta falls to the Raptors 134-117. Charlotte grabs a 112-99 victory over the Chicago Bulls. The Rockets fall to the Mavericks 110-104. So don't say that the Rockets can't be beaten because the Mavericks, who aren't very good, just grabbed the win over them. And of course, your final score in San Antonio, the Trailblazers 115, the San Antonio Spurs 110. Denny Avdija absolutely poured it on. We were talking about guys who had big games, and I mentioned Donovan Clingan, a career high 24 points. Tumani Kamara came up big. Caleb Love hit a couple big shots. Kind of glossed over Denny Avdija and didn't dive into the fact that he had a 29-point, 10 assist, 11 rebound, triple-double. Very good performance from Denny. I love it. Gotta love it. What's not to love? Now the Blazers, like I said, they will return home, and they got a 4-game stretch here in the friendly confines of Moda Center. Utah on Monday, Houston on both Wednesday and Friday, and then the Knicks on Sunday. After that, they get the Golden State Warriors on January 13th, my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. Happy early birthday. And that'll be a big game when we talk about the standings. Because, again, right now, Golden State's sitting there 2.5 games ahead of Portland. If they lose to Utah tonight, that's only going to benefit the Trailblazers, and the Trailblazers can do their duty by beating the Jazz when they come to Portland on Monday. That'll be huge. And so from that point on, you got Atlanta at home. That should be a game that Portland can win. The Lakers, I don't care how good the Lakers are. You always want to win that game. At Sacramento versus Miami versus Toronto. On the road at Boston, Washington, New York. That is the month of January. So when we talk about, and we've mentioned this a few times to you guys, the schedule getting easier, this is what we're talking about. Games against Utah, games against Atlanta, Sacramento again. And yes, you have the Torontos, the Boston, some of those good teams in there, but you have your first game of the year against Washington. Once you get into February, more Utah, Memphis, who's right there with you in the standings, still haven't played the Pacers and the Nets. And why is that important? They haven't played the Pacers and the Nets or the Wizards to this point. Well, because the Pacers are 0-10 in their last 10, losers of 11 straight games. They are 6-29. They are not playing good basketball. Washington 9-24. They've won 2 in a row. They're 6-4. So in their last 10, tip of the hat there. Brooklyn 10-22, 5-5 in their last 10. And so, I mean, think about that. Half of Brooklyn's wins have come in their last 10 games. More than half, 2/3 of Washington's wins have come in their last 10 games. So they've hit a stretch where they're playing well, but overall have not been playing good basketball. Atlanta, a team that Portland will see here relatively soon, 17-20. So you're getting back into a lot of those middle range teams, which is, more or less where Portland is right now. They are, no matter what you want to say, I mean, record-wise, they are a play-in team right now. And they got games. Miami, they're a play-in team right now. Atlanta, they're a play-in team right now. Games against Golden State and Memphis coming up. Those are play-in teams right now. So we're getting to a spot here for this Blazers team where these games become a little easier to win and also, I think, become just a little more important. All right, if you want to join the conversation here, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. Our text line, you can hit us up at 88528, or you can go to the YouTube chat. Just type in Rip City Radio, where Tall Tim says, great game for learning how to hang in there and not fold down the stretch. And this one was a team clutch win. Thank you, Tim, for agreeing that it was a clutch win. I'm gonna throw that at my friend Keith all day long. Because, again, I get what he was saying. It's just my job to throw barbs at him and have a little fun with it. It is. Sometimes it's hard to feel like a game was clutch when you missed free throws, because free throws are kind of synonymous with clutch because it's clutch time. You got to make your free throws. I just felt there was so much that this team did well throughout the night that you got to give them credit for what they were able to do throughout all 48 minutes. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the fifth quarter. When we come back, we're going to head to the coach's corner and also hand out a game ball. We'll hit up the phone lines if anyone's out there as well. But before we take a quick break, it's time for our shot of the night.
Loose ball. Klingen's got it. Puts it on the floor. Spins. Puts it up. Good. A new career high for Donovan Klingen. He's got 23 points, 10 rebounds, as well as he has another double-double. That is his 12th of the season. We're tied at 65.
Welcome back into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you, breaking down and talking about that impressive 115-110 victory for your Trailblazers tonight in San Antonio. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number, or you can hit us up on the text line, 88528, where one of our texters says, the Blazers really got the job done tonight. I'm loving the Denny step back threes. Hit a clutch one tonight, that's for sure. Happy birthday, Denny. That is right. Today, the 25th birthday of All-Star Denny Avdija. Hope he makes the All-Star game. He deserves it. His numbers have been absolutely incredible. He has been the best Blazer, and there is no question. All right, we're going to head to the Coach's Corner in just a second, but before we do, we're going to head out to the phone lines where a friend of the show, Bryce in North Portland, has been waiting patiently. Bryce, welcome into the fifth quarter. What do you got for us?
Hey, I really, really liked the slow folding of Hansen Yang into the Blazers lineup. You know, a little slow to start. Arguably, it is a really hard jump to go between like EuroLeague. I don't know. You don't call it China League, but like Asian League.
It is the CBA, the Chinese Basketball Association.
Okay, you may so knowledgeable. I guess you do call it the China, but it is a very hard jump, and I like a little bit of the performance. It's maybe overshown by like us letting the Spurs go on like an 8-2 run at the time, winding down in the first half. But they threw Yang in. He definitely looked like, to me, like he got wrapped up and then got away from it. And then that is really fulfilling, being a backup big behind Donovan Clingan, who is really, really stepping into some shoes. Not trying to be messy, inner organization, but you know, you got Redick giving some really interesting press conferences about keeping DeAndre Ayton enthused. And I'm smitten about Clingan, all of our bigs performances, and then with that little bit, seeing Yang get in there and get a little bit scrappy and not get overwhelmed. Like as much as I'd love to see him play indefinitely, like a Vegas Regency performance on the Chiles Center, I'd love to watch him put up like 27, 33 points at the G League every night. I'm happy have him have a few minutes and like really performative, get in some defense, and excited about the win. What are we, like 4 games back from 500? Let's go, Rip City.
Yeah, Bryson, thanks for the call as always. And no, it was nice to see. I know that there's a lot out on Young Hansen. Not, people are starting to get a little upset that, he has, been in now for, we're 36 games in, and he's not really fully cracked the rotation for various reasons. And people get mad that they use the high pick on him and, the trades. You could have had this guy, you could have had that guy. I mean, we're talking about the NBA draft here, okay? Because people get mad that Young Hansen's not absolutely phenomenal. Well, Caleb Love went undrafted. How many people whiffed on Caleb Love? And Caleb Love is currently a top 12 guy in the league right now among rookies when it comes to points per game. So some rookies take time. A lot of rookies take time. Not every rookie is the I'm a day one guy like a Cooper Flagg. And being a big in this league, hard adjustment to make. Being a young guy who's coming over from, like you said, from a different a league, where whether it's the CBA or Euro leagues, different rules, different styles of play, different athletic levels, all on top of moving away from your home country and learning a brand new language. Yeah, there's a lot for him to work on and overcome. And I think you still got to keep getting him in there and getting these 10-minute runs and feeling good about it. I mean, look at what you're getting out of Donovan Clingan right now. As you mentioned, Donovan Clingan has been incredible. And there was times last year where he's not seeing the floor because you have DeAndre Ayton and Dwapariz was playing well, and you couldn't trust him. He couldn't play more than 12 minutes. Remember, his cardio is terrible, which I thought was a joke. Like all this stuff, and now here he is, 34 minutes a night, a career high 24 points, 12 rebounds, impacting games. I wouldn't give up on young Hansen just yet, is my point. All right, let's head out to Hermiston, where Pat's been waiting patiently. Pat, welcome into the fifth quarter.
Hey, how you doing tonight? I just kind of wanted something I haven't heard mentioned about Donovan Clingan is the context of what he's doing. You go on to different fan sites and people have traditionally said bigs develop slower than guards and wings and forwards. And, I can't remember if Donovan's 21 or 22 years old, second year in the league, and he's already put these numbers, and these numbers, his strength was to be a defensive anchor. In some ways, I feel like offense using up a bit of energy and being a little conservative because, like on nights like this, if he falls out, they're really in trouble. So, but man, for him to be doing this at his age, and it seems like he sees the floor real well, has a pretty good basketball IQ. I would say he's potentially a above average passer, so I just can't say enough about him.
No, Pat, and thanks for the call. And you're right. He's been absolutely phenomenal for all things considered. And what I think is works against him almost is the fact that he is 7 feet tall, 7'2", 280 pounds. He looks like a grown adult because, he is. But in basketball terms, he's a baby. This is year number 2, like you said. Year number 2. He's 21 years old, 31 games into his second season. He's averaging 10 points, which, that's not earth-shattering. But he has had really good games like he is right now. 6 rebounds overall. 10 rebounds overall, 6 defensive rebounds, 1.5 blocks. Like, he's not your number one guy, but you're seeing improvement. And I think if you compare him to other guys around the league who I think were built in that same mold, and a guy that comes to mind, and it's not the exact same. I know it's not a direct one-to-one comp, but I had to look it up a second ago. It's Theo Ratliff, former Blazer. He was here for a very, very small amount of time, but I loved him. But Theo Ratliff made his calling card on the defensive side of the basketball an absolute anchor for center, finished top 10 multiple times, defensive player of the year, made a couple all NBA second team defenses. He was never the guy who to write home about offensively, but you could rely on him defensively. And it really wasn't until year 4 when he was 25 years old that he got his first sniff of defensive player of the year and made an all-defense team. And at that point, he was averaging 3 blocks per game, 8 rebounds, because he could clean the glass, and he was only averaging 11 points. Donovan Clingan doing that, not getting 3 blocks per game, but he is getting 1.4. But he's getting that 10.8 points, 10.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, shooting decently from beyond the arc as of late as well, all in year 2 at 21 years old. And in year 4 for Theo Ratliff, he was 25. It took him time as a big man in the league. Granted, he came in the league in 95, 96, different game. But his rookie year, played in 75 games, averaged 4.5 points, 4 rebounds, 1.5 blocks. He was there defensively, but he still had to work on everything. And once he worked on all the other stuff, he became a pretty solid center, my man. People remember him for his time in Philly. I loved him in Portland for the few seasons he was here. And again, you take that time to develop, I think you'll be just fine. Donovan Clingan has been absolutely incredible. Speaking of big men and former Spurs big men, because Theo Ratliff was a San Antonio Spur for 21 games in 2009 and 2010. Let's hear from former Spurs big man Thiago Splitter after this game. It is time to head to the Coach's Corner.
You guys, again, found a way to win. What did you like most about what you saw down the stretch?
Well, down the stretch, I think, we kept our composure most of the times. A couple mistakes, a couple missed free throws again, but, find a way to win the game and get it done.
And Donovan Clingan from the jump. I mean, 3 straight threes, 11 points in 2.5 minutes. What did you think of the way he started this one and finished?
Just confidence. I think he's playing at a high level defensively. He knows that he's the anchor for our defense and offense. On offense, sorry. He just, starting to feel comfortable at the three-point line, finishing around the rim. So it was huge tonight.
You guys got contributions from everyone who played tonight, from the starters to the bench. Very much a team win, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think, Denny being amazing, just with 10 assists and only 2 turnovers. Again, another step to his development. Caleb Love from the bench, being a scorer out there helped us a lot. Open space for us in the paint. To Money, another good game from him, shooting the ball and also outstanding on defense. Guys that help us.
Could you talk a little more about Tumani? Actually, it seemed like in the fourth quarter, really, really important for you guys on both sides of the ball, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I think, like I said, on defense, he was guarding Fox, kind of huge stop at the end, forced him on a tough shot. Also a layup, right-hand layup on a moment, a big three in transition where they blitzed Denny. Just those guys are getting used to those moments and learning and feeling more comfortable and making shots.
Second chance points tonight really seemed important for you guys as well. I believe 26, second chance points.
Yeah, it's huge against the Spurs. They're a great defensive rebounding team. We knew that, but we just put a little bit more emphasis on crashing, on getting there, and we made money out of it.
Right here. First of all, congratulations on the win. Coming back to San Antonio, you've spent a good chunk of your career here. Favorite memories coming back home to San Antonio?
A lot. Just from the first game I played here, the friends I made with Manu, Boris, team, Patty, the whole team. There was a very special group of guys that spent a lot of time together playing, spent time off the court as well, keep in touch too these days. So it's special.
Yeah. What do you think about this young Spurs team?
I mean, they are flourishing, right? Like, they have a lot of talent. Of course, the Spurs being, last couple seasons losing games, but now those guys are getting, experience. They're good. Of course, Wemby didn't play tonight, so that's a big difference. But it's a great team.
They didn't have Wemby, which is a big difference, which even more so, I think you got to applaud what Portland did tonight. They weathered the storm and took care of business, won a game that they should have at least had a chance to. I don't think a lot of people would have picked them to win the game going in, because San Antonio is still a very, very good team, even without Victor Wembanyama. But you got to take advantage of when one of the best players in the universe, not even on this planet, just one of the best players in the universe is out. You got to take advantage of that when they're without him and Vassell, two great scorers, two of their best players. Like, you got to take advantage of that, and I absolutely think Portland did. Who took advantage of it the most, though? Let's find out. It's time to hand out a game ball. Oh, well, this one's pretty straightforward. But it's not, because you want to say Denny Avdija, right? He had a triple-double, 29 points, 11 boards, 10 assists. But he was also 9 of 23 from the floor. I got to go for efficiency and a career night. I'm giving my game ball to Donovan Clingan. 9 of 12 from the floor, a career high, tying 3 3-pointers, and a career high 24 points, all to go along with 12 rebounds. A nice double for the Trailblazers. Big man. All right, that's going to do it for the fifth quarter tonight. We'll be back at it here, though, in just a few days. The Blazers end their road trip tonight They go 2-3 on a 3-game trip. That's nice. Return home for a 4-game set. They will see Utah once, Houston twice on Wednesday and Friday, and then the New York Knicks on Sunday. Next game is against Utah Jazz on Monday. Tip-off at 7 o'clock means I have game day for you starting at 5. And just for my friend Keith, we changed it up tonight. No Metallica and Justice for All to send us out. No Freebird. Those are our 2 go-tos. We're going with a song by the band Clutch, just for my friend Keith, because the Blazers were clutch tonight. This is Earth Rocker by Clutch, because the Blazers rocked San Antonio tonight, 115-110 final. Come home, winners of 2 in a row, to play the Utah Jazz on Monday. I will talk to you game day at 5 o'clock. Until then, Rip City, I'll talk to you on the next one.